What bile acid can do for me as investor, as a feed formulator. Here, I'm going to show some general lines to understand how bile acid can help us. The first one is increase shrimp productivity. This is specifically for shrimp, related to the growth, related to the disease control, and also the molting process and how to make it successful. The second is about the salmon productivity, also related to the growth promotion and disease control, and also the transfer, because the transfer process is have a big impact on the salmon growth and mortality. The third one, we are going to focus a little on the tilapia production related to the growth and also disease. The fourth point too is it's a general point that the bile acid can increase the fish and shrimp growth, start from 10% till 60%, depends on many factors related to the diet, related to the culture condition, and related to the bile acid level and fat level, and so on. The fifth one is already very important point in aquaculture. It's related to the stress. Whatever this stress is, a heat stress, is cold stress, or even salinity or disease, chemicals, any kind of abnormal thing come into the body and give the body higher load and stress. The last one, it's related to the feed quality, how much bacteria it have, the feed additives there, the feed additives loss, and the palatability, feed intake, and so on. Let's start with shrimp and focus on a key point. Just here today, we focus on some key points. But if you need to have more information, you can back to our company LinkedIn page or my personal page. I organize them in organized topics. For shrimp, as we can see here, when we add bile acid to the shrimp diets, we support the most important and the key organ in the shrimp. It is the hepatopancreas. When the shrimp is small, the hepatopancreas is not matured enough, which means the enzyme level is not enough. The bile acid is not enough. The function of enzymes and the quantity of enzymes, digestive enzyme, is not enough. In this case, when we add the bile acid, we support the function of hepatopancreas and give it a chance to grow and mature with the body weight increased. Also, a key point here we have dealt with in the aquaculture field. It's the HPND infection. This infection till today doesn't have a sharp treatment, but we have using the bile acid for 6 days, and we have controlled the HPND infection in shrimp with our partner in Iran. For the salmon, also the sea lice, it's a very important and hot topic last two months about how, and there are many investigations from the commercial sector and also from the scientific sector. They are trying to understand why sea lice attracted to the salmon and how we control it. And they are trying to find new way instead of delousing and take it physically away from the salmon, how by nutritional means we can control the sea lice in salmon. And here we propose the effect of the bile acid on the salmon sea lice. Here the bile acids have a very good effect to increase the utilization and digestion of some fatty acids. They already in the soybean, they already in the krill meals, and then when the bile acid increase their utilization and digestibility, they get in the body and increase the mucus layer growth over the salmon body. And this mucus, when it's grow faster and thicker, they wash out all the sea lice. Another point that how the immune system be supported by bile acid application in salmon diet. Immune system, it means high activity, it means need energy. In this case, the bile acid promotes the energy production and subsequently provide enough energy for the immune system to defend the body instead of taking this energy from the body, and then the salmon growth will be lower. So in this case, we not just promote the energy production for salmon growth, but also for the immune activity to defend the salmon and decrease the mortality rate. For tilapia, we focus here on the streptococcus disease, which it's a kind of vibrio, and the bile acid have a specific function related to this bacteria. This bacteria attack the tilapia and then cause some symptoms, and then they die. So for this kind of vibrio, they have some toxins. So the bile acid holds these toxins and make them have no effect on the tilapia. And also there is another effect. It's the bile acid directly break down the cell wall of this disease, and then these bacteria have less or no effect on the tilapia. The previous point, earlier point that we have explained, they are describing some key solutions in some fish in aquaculture sector. But in this point, you are going to talk generally on the growth in different fish, including what we have already mentioned and other kind of fish we didn't mention today. For example, here, the bile acid increased the growth of seabass by about 13%. Also, for shrimp, it could be 7%, in case even we replace the fish meal by about 60%. For the carp, also the growth improvement got to 43%. Also for the tilapia, which is the diet is totally plant-based protein, and it increases the growth by 10 to 15%. In catfish, it arrived about like 60% growth rate comparing to the control treatment. This is generally the how the bile acid increase the growth in fish and shrimp. Of course, there is different factors, and in case you have a specific condition, feel free to contact our technical team, especially me. I'm going to give you a customized solution for your condition. Here, the stress comes from temperature, high temperature, low temperature, change of water salinity, bacterial infection, other chemicals, mycotoxin, whatever. This kind of stressors, sometimes they come together or sometimes they come one by one. For example, here, for the transportation of the fish from a place to another place. So we get the fish under restricted feed intake. So no enough feed intake, which means they have low energy. In this case, the bile acid stored in the body will affect the fish health and energy production, because the bile acid will take this stored fat in the body and make energy, give this energy for the priority number one for the immune system. Also, there is a heat temperature or heat stress, the high temperature effect or low temperature effect. All of these, the bile acid can deal with it. Another one is that when we say the salt or the salinity stress, when you transfer fish from a place to another place, from water to another water, the water is not the same. Some water have more salt, some water have less salt, some water have other kind of chemicals, which make stress over the body. In this case, the bile acid will help you so much. And we have a feedback from one customer and other partner in Bangladesh and some other areas in Southeastern countries with a very good result of bile acid application. Also, the chemicals or toxins, it's not just chemicals or toxins, also could be some anti-nutritional factors in the feed stuff we already use. For example, the soybean meals, they have some other chemicals and toxins. The bile acid can hold them. For the mycotoxin, which is a product or a toxin of fungi. So the bile acid here controls the fungi growth itself. So the fungi cannot give more mycotoxin, and even the produced mycotoxin would be holded and deactivated by bile acid application. And this get us to the last point, which is also very important. It's the feed quality. As we know, the feed be produced and stored. So the quality of the feed is very important. Whatever you put, whatever the feed additives you add to your feed, and then this feed in a bad condition or exposed to a low quality condition affects the feed quality, which means you are losing so much. For example, the first point is the pelleting quality. When the pellet is not sticked well and is not at physical contact well, it means it's going to leach or let all micronutrients go to the water, and then the shrimp or fish lose them. But when you use bile acid, we solve this problem that the bile acid mix the component together, as we are going to explain. The second one is the feed storage. It's also related to the bacteria. And the soybean high replacement. When you increase the soybean replacement, you mean you increase the mycotoxin, you increase the toxins, and in this case, bile acid help you. The fourth one is high mycotoxin. Also, we have mycotoxin binder. We can decrease this amount because mycotoxin binder could be added in a large amount, which means you cannot intense your fish or shrimp diet. So in this case, when you replace part of mycotoxin binder by bile acid, which performs the same function, so you make a distance for formulation to be more elastic and more free to change. The last one is the feed intake, because the bile acid have a special mechanism to increase the feed intake. It affects the olfactory organs in the fish and shrimp, and also affect the receptor of amino acid, which means if the fish eat more amino acid, it means the fish feel that eat more. And then the bile acid go to the same way and give a message to the brain that we are eating amino acid, but it's not, it's bile acid, which means increase the feed intake. So here, for example, increase the feed quality. The main point here is the fiber and the oil and the bile acid get in one structure, so we are not going to lose the oil in the water and the other nutrient in the water. It keep the pellet competed and come together. Other is to increase the feed storage life, which means that because the bile acid have an control effect on the bacteria, which means this bacteria in the feed, in the storage place, cannot work so well, which means we protect the feed additives from breaking down by bacteria. So the bile acid help you to increase feed. Also, the bile acid increase the feed intake, as we have explained in this. If you look down there, there is the first point, the second point down there. The bile acid receptor, so the bile acid go to the same receptor of the amino acid. This is the second point, and give a message to the mind. Yes, you are eating more amino acid. Let's eat more, which means increase the feed intake. Other thing that the bile acid itself have receptor, and this receptor give a message to the mind and say that increase the carbohydrate metabolism, which means increase the feed intake also. So today we proposed some flash points on how the bile acid can help us related to the specifically for shrimp or salmon, tilapia, and the growth generally for fish and shrimp, and stress, whatever the kind of stress, and lastly, by the feed quality. If you are interested in one or more of this information, or even other problem you have in your factory or on your farm, and we didn't mention today, feel free to contact us. Our technical team will help you. Thank you.
And thank you so much, Dr. Abdallah. And Dr. Abdallah, from Dr. Abdallah's sharing, we learned that bile acid can promote the growth of aquatic animals and increase the yield of aquatic animals. It also helps to relieve stress and improve feed quality. And it's a feed-friendly additive. Thank you again for sharing. And next is the Q&A part. It in the water, or need to mix with the feed, or
Yeah, well, as we know, the bile acid, it's an agent it get water and oil together. So we have the bile acid and water and oil. So this is the point. So when you mix the bile acid with your feed, you need to mix it with water and then with oil or water and directly to the feed. It's all okay. But it also could be mixed with the water, but it's not for nutritional purpose. So for nutritional purpose, you only mix with the diet. But if you want to solve some other problem in the water, especially for shrimp hatcheries or Vibrio disease spread, or you have some problem in the RAS system or biofloc system, might be you can use a bile acid to control the Vibrio there or the pathogenic bacteria. But for the feed, you add it directly to the feed.
Okay, thank you, doctor. I think it's very clear. And I think I received the second question from our audience is, do bile acids improve the meat quality and flavor of salmon?
Yeah, for sure. It's salmon. It's because it's a high value product, and the people consuming the salmon, they are considering many factors. One of them, the color, and the other is the texture and how they taste it. Of course, for the taste, it's mainly it's a complex process, but it's mainly managed by how much fat in the fillet and what kind of fatty acid we have there. As we use the bile acid, so we increase the utilization, which means digestion, absorption, and the metabolism of those fatty acids, and make them easy to reach the fillet of the salmon, which for sure will increase the salmon quality and taste.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.